Hello everyone. So previously we had discussed on designing a load balancer. We had successfully designed a load balancer. Yeah, load balancer system actually. Yep. So today, uh, let's see what the question states here. So we have to design a logger system, right? So we have been asked to design a logger system that can handle concurrent log requests efficiently. Yep. So the main question is to design a logger system here. Yep. So let's see the full question. Design a logger system that can handle concurrent log requests efficiently. It should support multiple log levels, whether it may be debug, info, warning, error, critical. Let's go with the same things. Yeah. So here it should support multiple log levels, whether it may be debug, info, warning, error, critical, etc. Right? So output logs to both console and rotating files. It has to output the logs to both console as well as the rotating files and ensure asynchronous non-blocking logging for high performance application. And it has to ensure asynchronous non-blocking logging for high performance applications. The system must be thread safe. So this is very important. They have strictly mentioned here that the system must be thread safe, allow log rotation by size, and it has to allow the log rotation by size. That is also one of the important thing to remember, and support configurable formats and the handlers. And it has to support configurable formats as well as the handlers. So this is the question actually. Yep. So let's collect, or let's see the this one. Let's discuss the functional as well as the non-functional requirements. Then we can just move on with the further things, whether it may be concurrency, data modeling, code, this one limitations of the code that we write, and future discussions. Then we can do that. First, as usual, let's go with the functional as well as the non-functional requirements. So here, let's move on with the functional requirements. So here, first thing is we have to create log entries with a different severity levels, right? So we have to create log entries with different severity levels, different severity levels in the sense this one that they have given in the question itself. Let's go with the same thing. Debug, info, warning, error, as well as the critical. Yeah, these five things. Yep. It has to support multiple outputs. They have strictly mentioned handlers or the sinks, right? So we have to take care of the console, file, rotating file, nothing but the placeholder for remote sync. So these three things: console, file, as well as the rotating file. When I say support multiple outputs, we have to take care of the console, file, as well as the rotating file. Next, let's move on with a configurable formatting here. Configurable formatting in the sense we have to take care of timestamps, level, message, as well as the metadata, right? So these three things. So next, let's move on with a non-blocking logging API for the callers. When I say non-blocking logging API for the callers, I'm speaking of the asynchronous enqueue, right? I'm speaking of the asynchronous enqueue, right? Let's move on with the further things here. Just give me a second here, 1 second. Yeah. Uh, so the fifth one is here, ability to set per logger and per handler level thresholds, right? So we should be able to this one set per logger and per handler level thresholds, right? Next, let's go with the sixth one. It has to be safe for the concurrent use by multiple threads or the processes, meaning it has to be thread safe in simple terms. Yep. So this is fine. So then we have to make sure we have log rotation by size and retention. Yeah. So we should be able to keep the n files, right? The final one is we should be able to flush and shut down gracefully. We should be able to flush and shut down gracefully. So this is the functional requirements that we discussed. Now let's go with the non-functional requirements as well. Yeah. So first thing is high throughput with a low latency for the callers, right? So nothing but we have to minimize the blocking here. In simple terms, they have asked us to minimize blocking here, right? So this is what they have asked us to do here. This is fine. Minimize blocking. Next, low memory usage. Yeah. When I say this one low memory usage, so it has to be bounded queue and bounded batch size. It has to contain, or it has to be a bounded queue as well as the bounded batch size. Just remember this one. Next, we have to take care of the durability for file output. So this is very important. Yep. So durability for the file output in the sense we can just go with the atomic writes or flush on rotation. Yep. So this is fine. Next, let's go with this one. We have to take care of the fault tolerance in the sense we have to handle the failures, we have to, or we can just go with a handler, this one, failures handler that do not crash the applications basically. Yeah, that has to degrade this one gracefully. Yep. So that's what the fault tolerance says here. Now we have to take care of the observability in the sense we have to go with a matrix, or we have to maintain the matrix for queue length as well as the lost messages. Lost messages, this is optional actually. Yep, this is fine. Finally, the sixth one is configurability. When I say configurability, we are speaking of the formats, rotation size, as well as the retention, right? Retention. We can add one more thing, batch interval as well. Yep. So these are the things that we need to take care of. So this is about the functional and non-functional requirements. Now, let's move on with the algorithm choice. Yeah. So in my opinion, algorithm choice, basically it's better to go with the asynchronous queue as well as the worker thread. So I found it very this one. Uh, it's it works actually. It's better to go with the asynchronous queue as well as this one with the worker threads actually, in simple terms. Yep, asynchronous queue with a worker thread. So this is one of the best algorithms that I felt to go with actually. Yeah. So here what it does, it's chosen to duplicate application threads from the input output latency, Yep. So then callers push minimal object to a bounded queue where worker pops and writes to sinks in batches actually. Yep. This yields high throughput as well as the back pressure handling. Yep. I hope this part is clear, man. Let's move on with the next one. Nothing but the concurrency in the data modeling, right? So let's discuss about the concurrency part here. So here in the concurrency part, so first we will be going with the queue from queue module used, right? So queue from the queue module used, right? So this is safe for the threads. So this is safe for the threads actually, right? So this is fine, man. Next, worker safely updates rotation metadata. Yep, worker should be this one. Worker should be able to safely update the rotation metadata. Yep, rotation must pause, then writes momentarily but remains inside the worker thread. Yep, so this also we have to take care of. Then graceful shutdown, we have already discussed this one. Let's set a sentinel, join worker and flush remaining logs. We should be able to actually, let's go, let's set a sentinel, join worker as well as the flush remaining logs. So this is fine. Next, let's move on with the UML diagram, the main thing. Yeah, so here this is the main class actually we'll be going with. Yeah, so this is the main class within the logger class. So we will be making use of name, level, handlers here. This log is nothing but the method. We'll be making use of the methods, right? So this logger class uses this one, asynchronous dispatcher, nothing but this is single thread that reads queue and calls this one handler.emit. So this is the single thread that reads queue and calls the handler.emit here, right? So just remember this one. So we will be making use of the queue and the worker thread along with the enqueue of record, this one helper method. So this is fine. So basically this async dispatcher, what it does, it calls handler. It calls the handler, right? So we will be going with the level as well as the emit of record. We'll be going with the level as well as the emit of record in the sense this one. What do we call method? Helper method. Now we'll be making use of the formatter as well. So we'll be going with a format string here along with a format of record in the sense. So this one helper method, right? So this handler uses basically there are two types. One is console, another one is rotating file. So they have strictly mentioned in the question as well. We have to take care of the console as well as the rotating file, right? So this is related to the handler, right? So this is fine. Yep. So this is it for the UML diagram. Just look at it carefully. The same thing, whatever we have used here, the same thing, we'll be making use of it to write the code actually, right? So you can just have a look into it. You can just pause the video and look into it carefully, right? Yeah. So the same thing, we'll be making use of it within the code. Now we have the understanding of the question. Yep. So we have collected, we have the functional requirements, non-functional requirements as well. Now we have discussed about the concurrency and the data modeling along with the algorithm choice. Yep. Now we have went through the UML diagram. We have designed already. Yep. We should be able to write the code now accordingly with the discussion, previous discussions, as well as the this one UML diagram accordingly with the UML diagram that we have written, right? So now let's start writing the code. So first, let's do one thing. Let's import certain things, right? So let's import threading here. So I'll just go with here, import. Why this is not showing? This is fine. Yeah, it's slow, I believe. Next, let's import the time here. So I'll just go with time. So this is fine. Next, let's import OS here. Yep. So this is also fine. Next, let's import input output. So I'll just go with here, import IO, right? This is fine. Next, we also need the traceback actually. Let's import the traceback as well. Yep. So this is also fine. Next, we need queue as well as we need full and we need empty, right? So I'll just go with from queue. This is fine. Import. What are the things that we need here? Basically, queue, full as well as the empty, right? So I'll just go with the queue. Let me go with a full as well as let me go with empty here. Yep. So these three things. Yes. This is fine. Next, we also need date time. Yeah, we need date time. So basically from the date time itself, from I'll just go with date time. Where is it? So yeah, date time, import date time. Yep. So this is fine, I believe. The final one, we need enum from the this one. Let's import int enum. We need that one from the enum actually. Yep. So I'll just go with enum. Let's import what shall we import here? Int enum. Yep. So this is fine, I believe. So next, let's do one thing. Let's go with the basic enums or the data classes, right? So let's go with the class level first. Yep. So what we are going with here, we are going with the basic enums or the data classes. Just remember this one. I'll just go with class level. So let me pass here int enum. Yep. So within the level class, first what we'll do, what are the this one these things log levels they have mentioned, right? It should support the multiple log levels here. First, let me copy the debug here. So I'll just go with here debug. Let me set this one to the 10. Yeah. Next one is actually they have went with the info. Let me copy this one. Let me paste it over here and let me set this one to the 20, right? So levels basically. Let me go with warning here and warning. Let me set this one to the 30. Yeah. So this is fine. Warning. Uh, let me copy the same thing. Let it be in the caps itself. Yep. So this is fine. Next, let's go with the error actually. So this one, let me set this one to the 40. So this is also fine. Finally, let's go with the critical. This one, critical. Let me set this one to the 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yep. So this is fine, man. We are done with the this one level class actually. Next, let's go with another class, nothing but the log record, right? So I'll just go with a class log record. Yep. So this is fine. Let's go with the initialization part first. So I'll just go with def init. So here, along with the self, I need quite a few things here. So I'll just go with logger. This is fine. Or else let me go with a logger name here. Logger name. So this is fine. Level. This is fine. Also, we need message. This is also fine. Finally, let's set the metadata initially to Boolean value. This one. None actually. Sorry. Yep. Let me go with a metadata equals none. Yep. So this is fine. So within the initialization part, there are certain things that we have to initialize now. Timestamp, logger, this one logger name, level, message, metadata, as well as the sequence. Yep. Let's go with the timestamp first. Just go with timestamp here. This one, I'll just go with date time dot UTC now. Yep. So this is fine. So let me include the parenthesis as well. I'll just go with logger here. So we have went with a logger name, right? So I'll copy paste man instead of writing this one. Yeah. So logger name, let's set this one to the logger name. So this is fine. The third one is level. one second. So let me copy this one, paste it over here. Let me set this one to the level. Yep, let me initialize this one to the level. So next, let's go with the message actually. This is small. So let me set this one to the message. Yep. The next part is metadata, right? So this one will be metadata. Let me copy this one actually. Yeah, paste this one over here and set this one to the metadata, or I'll just go with a dict, right? So this is fine. Next, let's go with a simple unique ID actually. So I'll just go with self dot sequence here. So let me set this one to the ID of self. Yeah. So this is fine. Yeah. So we are done with this class actually. Log record, right? So this one, let me make this one capital R. This is fine. Now this looks good actually. Yep. Next, let's go with a one more class named formatter. Right. All right. So let's go with a formatter class here. So I'll just go with class formatter. Right. So this is fine. Again, let's go with the initialization part. I think what the constructor part. Right. So in it, so along with the self, I need certain things here. So this one, let me go with a format. And what shall I do here? Let's pass this one. ASC time actually here. This is fine. Yep. And also let me do one thing. Let me go with a level here. Yep. This is also fine. Let me come out of this one entirely. Now let's set the name here initially, and also let me pass message. Let's pass the name and message. Sorry. Yep. So this is fine. So within the initialization part, so let me go with format. Uh, Let me set this one to the. So this is fine. Yep. Next, let's move on with the this one helper method format actually. I'll just go with def format here. So what are the things that I need along with the self? Let me go with a record here. Record. I'll just give here log record. So this is it. Yep. Class name. This is fine. So within the format helper method, so I'll just go with a ASA time here. Why this is not showing? This is fine. Let me set this one to the record dot timestamp. So this has to show the timestamp. Yep, yep. So I'll just go with str one second f time. So let me select this one. And let me go with a format actually. So why here? So this is fine. Below m. So this is fine. Month, nothing but the this one month. So this is nothing but the date actually. D here. This is fine. H. So let's go with the hours here. Mm, Minutes actually. M followed by seconds actually. S. I'll just give S here. Modulo. So this one I'll just give FC, right? FC, right? So this is fine, I believe. Yep. Next, let's go with the level. Let me assign the level to record dot level. This is fine. Dot name actually. Dot name. So this is fine. Let's set the name. Let me assign the name to record logger name. Yep. So this is also fine. Uh, Let me assign message to record again dot message. So this is fine. Let's set the meta as well. Let me assign this one to the. So let's leave space here, and also let me go with join here. So this is fine. Let's go with the string interpolation here. So this one will be k actually. K me assign this one to equals b. Yep. So we are getting b for k comma v, and I'll just go with record dot metadata, right? Yep. Metadata dot let me select items here, right? Items. So let me give parenthesis as well. So this is fine, man. Now let's return something. We have to return something, right? So not record actually. Let's return something. What we need to return here? Dot format. This is fine. But I'll just go with complete format here. This is fine. Let me assign ASC time here. This one to the ASC time itself. Yep. So this is fine. Let me set level to the level. This is also fine. And along with it, name to name. Name to name. So this is fine. Message to message actually. Yep. This is also fine. Finally, meta. Let me set this one to the meta. Yep. So this is also fine. So next, let's do one thing. Let's go with a handler base class. So when I say handler base class, so I'll just go with here class handler, class handler. So this is fine. So let me go with the initialization part. So this is nothing but the init. So I'll just go with self dot sorry level set. Let's set the level to the this one level dot this one. Let's set this one to the debug. Yeah, debug and initially, and let me set the format. I'll just go with a formatter here. Formatter. I'll just set this one to none initially. Yep. So this is fine, man. So within the this one constructor part, so level and formatter we have to consider, right? So I'll just go with self dot level. Let me initialize this one to level. So this is fine, and also self dot let me consider here. Let me copy this formatter, paste it over. Oh, sorry, what did I copy, man? This one itself, right? Formatter. Let me assign this one to formatter. Let me initialize this one with a formatter or formatter with a big F actually. Yep. So this is fine with a parenthesis. Yeah. So now let's move on with a this one helper method handle actually. With we are going with a handler base case itself, right? Base class. Sorry, we are just going with a handler base class itself. So let's go with a handle helper method here. So I'll just go with def here. Handle. This is fine. Self. I'll just go with record. I'll just go with a record. Yep. So this is fine. So let me give try. Within that try, let me go with self dot emit here. Self dot emit of let me pass a record here. Where is the record? Record. Yep. So this is fine. Next, let's go with a except here. Except. So this one, I'll just go with the exception. Call the exception here. So within this, so let's go with a handler that must not crash the application. Basically, let's try to make use of the print uh, and print certain this one error actually error message. So I'll just go with a handler. Let me go with emit error. Handler emit error. Along with it, let's pass here trace back format. This has to show format execution exec, right? So this is fine. Now we are done with this helper method, man. Now let's do one thing. Let's go with one more helper method named emit here. So I'll just go with here emit def emit. I need this one actually record actually. Yep. So this is fine. So let's go with the raise keyword here. Not implemented error. So I'll just go with the not implemented error. Not showing here. Not implemented error. It has to show. Yeah. This is fine. Yep. Now let's go with a console handler as well. Let's go with a console handler as well. So I'll just go with class here. So this is fine. Let me go with console handler. Let me go with the console handler of let me pass the handler here. Let me pass the handler here. So this is fine. And within the console handler, this one class. So let's do one thing. Let me go with a helper method emit. Me go with the helper method emit. So I'll just go with self as well as the record. This is fine. So within the emit helper method, so first let me assign line to the self dot formatter. This has to show dot format this one. Let me pass the record here, right? So this is fine. Yep. So now let's do one thing. Let's go with a very simple synchronized print here, right? So print is automation here for the single process standard out. So I'll just print line here. So here I'll just go with print and let me pass the line. Yep. So this is it. Very simple. This one. Simple synchronized print. We are done with a handler class actually. Yeah. Sorry. This one. Console handler class actually. Sorry. We have already written the handler class. So here to here. This one is console handler class. So this is also fine, man. Now, as per the UML diagram, we have to go with a rotating file handler as well. This is completely size based. Just remember this one. Yep. So one more class here. Class rotating file handler. So this is fine. So let me pass the handler as parameter. This is fine. So I'll just go with def init, nothing but sorry. Where is init? Why this is selecting like this? Actually, this is selecting the same thing actually, what we have previously written. So I'll just go with here init. Why this is considering like this actually? Did I do anything wrong? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's remove this one. Also, along with the self, I need certain things here. So I'll just go with a file name here. So this is fine. Uh, Along with the file name, let me set the max bytes here. Max bytes to this one 10 into 1024. Yep, this is also fine. Let me go with a backup count. Backup count. So let me set this one to the 3 as well as so let me set the level to level dot debug initially. Level to the level dot debug. So this has to show. Yep. The final one, let's go with a formatter. We need formatter, I believe. Yeah. So 1 second. Just give me a second here. We need formatter. Let's do one thing. Let's set the formatter to Boolean value false, or let's set this one to the none. Actually, sorry. Yep. Let's do this. So within the initialization method, what are the things that we need to initialize? So again, so let's make use of the super keyword here. This is fine. So I'll just go with init here. So this is also fine. Let me pass level equals level. So I'll just go with level. This is also fine. Formatter. Let me set this one to the formatter. Right. So this is also fine. Now let's go with the self dot file name. This is fine. File name. Let me set this one to the file name. This is fine. I'll also go with a self dot max bytes actually. Max bytes. So let me assign this one to the max bytes. So this is also fine. And let me go with a self dot backup. I'll just go with a backup. So this is also fine. Count. So this one, let me go with a backup count. This is also fine. Self dot. So let me go with the open file here. Open file. This is fine as well. Final one. Set for open. We have already went with the open file, right? So this is fine. Why here? 1 second. Oh yeah. So this is fine. Yep. Next, let's go with the open file helper method. Yep. So I'll just go with def here. Let me go with open file. So this is fine. Let me pass self here. Within the open file helper method, I'll just go with os dot here, make directory. So I'll just go with make, sorry, make directories. So this one is fine. Let's go with os dot path. Yep. Dot. So I'll just go with the directory name here. Let's set the directory name self dot file name. Yep. So this is also fine. Or we can just go with a dot as well. So this one is fine as well. Next, let me go with the exist. Okay. Let's set this one to the true actually. Let's set this one to the Boolean value. So this is fine. So this is it. Next, let's go with the stream actually. Let's go with a stream. Let me go with open here. Self dot. Let me go with file name. Let me go with file name here. Yes, this is fine. Let's go with A, and also let me go with a this one buffering. Let's set this one to the 1. So this is fine. Buffering, let's set this one to the 1. Also encoding here, let me set the encoding to UTF-8. UTF this one 8 actually. UTF-8. So this is fine. So this is line buffered one. Yep. So next let's go with the def actually. I'll just go with should def should rotate actually. I'll just go with rotate. Yep. So let me pass the self here. So this is fine. So within the helper method should rotate. So let's go with the try as well as the except here. So I'll tell you why we'll be making use of it. So within that try, so we have to go with a we have to flush actually. We have to make use of the stream dot flush here. So I'll just go with self dot stream dot flush. So this is fine. The next part would be size. Let me go with os dot path path dot. So let's go with a get size here. Let's go with a get size. So this is also fine. I'll just go with the self dot file name. Yeah, file name. Yep. So let me go with return size greater than or equal to self dot max maximum bytes actually. Yep. Let me select this. Now let's go with the except here. Except, let's call the exception. This is fine. And the return, what shall be written here? Let's return Boolean value false. Yep. So this is also fine. Now let's move on with the one more helper method here named rotate. So we have to rotate this one. They have strictly mentioned in the question. Yep. So I'll just go with rotate here. Rotate of. Let me pass the cell. Yep. So again, let me go with a try. Try. So I'll just go with self dot stream here dot. Let me go with a close. Yep. So what we need to do here, we have to rotate in the sense file name to file name this one file name dot dot one to dot two actually, and then we have to keep the backup count as well, right? How can we do that? Let's make use of the iteration, or let's go with the for loop here. I'll just tell you. So this one will be for I in range. What's the range? So I'll just go with self here. Let me make use of the backup count actually. So this is fine. -1. So this one will be 0 and this will be -1. Yep. So within the for loop, let's set the S and D here. S equals, let's go with the string interpolation here. So this one will be dot, let me go with the file name. So this is fine. File name dot. So I'll just pass I over here. So this is fine, man. Yep. Let me set the D to F followed by this one. 1 second. I'll just go with self dot. Again, file name here. This is also fine. Dot I plus 1. Yep. Dot I plus 1. Yep. So this is fine. The next one, let's go with a simple if condition. Os dot path. Os dot path. So this one dot exists here. Let me pass s here. This is also fine. Let me go with os dot replace here. Os dot replace. So let me pass s and d respectively. Yep. So this is also fine. Let me go with a simple if condition now. 1 second. So this one will be if again os dot path. Let me go with the path here. Dot exists dot exist. So I have to pass the file name, right? So we have to make use of the self here as we are dealing with a class here. So this is fine. File name. Yep. So within the if condition, I'll just give here os dot replace. So let me go with the replace here. So this one will be self dot again file name. Yep. File name. Along with it, let's pass the file name dot one here. Let me make use of the string interpolation here. Let me go with self dot. Let me pass the file name. So this is fine. File name dot one. Yep. So this is fine. We have to reopen the fresh file, right? So for that, let's do one thing. Let me go with here self. Mm, Let me call here open file actually. Yep. So this one open file. Yep. So this is fine. We are done with this part. Yep. So this is fine. So let's go with a except here this one. Yep. We have just went with a try, right? So let me go with except. Let me call exception here. So this is fine. So within this, what shall I do? Let me print something for the interactive purpose. I'll just go with a rotation failed here. Rotation failed. Yep. So this one, let me go with traceback dot format. I'll just go with traceback dot format. So this is fine. Format exec. Yep. So this is fine. So let me give parenthesis as well, or else we'll get the error. Yep. So this is fine. Next, let's deal with a helper method emit as discussed in the UML diagram, right? So I'll just go with the def emit here. Emit, let me go with the self. Along with the self, I need a record as well here. So let me type this one entirely. So within the record, so I'll just set the line to this one. Formatter, formatter. So I'll just go with the format. Let me pass the record here. Let me pass the record. So this is fine. Plus we have to move to the new line. So I'll take this one to the, I'll give slash n here. So this is fine. Let me go with self dot stream. Let me make use of right here, right of, let me pass line. Yep. So this is correct. Next, let's write the simple if condition here. If self dot, I'll just go with the should rotate actually. So this should show, yeah, should rotate. Then within the if condition, I'll just go with self dot score rotate. Yep. So I'll just go with the rotate. Yep. So this is fine, man. Yep. Now let's do one thing. Let's go with a async dispatcher, right? So just give me a second here. Have so much of code to write. We have to go with the async dispatcher. So we have to go with the, still we have to go with the class logger. Within that one, there are so many helper methods as well. Yep. So these things we have to do. First, let's go with the async dispatcher here, right? So just give me a second here. Class async dispatcher. Yep. So within the async dispatcher class, first let's go with the initialization part. So this will be def init. So this one along with the self, I need certain things here. One, I'll just go with the handler. 1 second. Yeah, let me go with the handler here. Let me go with queue size and set the queue size to 1000 here. Set the queue size to 1000, and also let's go with the batch size here. Let me go with the batch size here. Let me set the batch size to 50. So this is fine. Let's let me go with a flush interval as well. Let's set the flush interval to Zero 0.5. Yeah, this would be fine. This would be good actually. Let's set the this one flush interval to zero 0.5, and let me go with a drop policy as well as the parameter. So I'll just go with the drop policy. Let me set this one to the let's go with a drop oldest actually within the strings. Yep. So this is fine. Yep, we are done with the this one. We are done with this part actually. So let's initialize certain things here. So here, what we are doing basically, why we are making use of the drop policy, I have given the drop oldest, right? So we can just drop the oldest or drop new or block, right? So block means we can just block briefly. Yep, so that also we can do. Now let's go with the number of initialization that we need to do. We have considered handlers, we have considered this one. Yeah, so all that one, let's initialize. So let me give handlers here instead of the handler, right? So this one second. Yep. So let me go with self dot handlers. Let me type this one, or let me copy paste. So this one will be handlers. So this is fine. Next, I'll just go with self dot. So this one, let me go with the queue size here. So let me copy this one queue size, or let me go with the queue actually. Queue. Let me go with the queue actually. Queue of. Let's do one thing. Let's go with max size and set the max size to queue size actually. Yep. This is fine. Next, let's go with a batch actually, or let's directly go with a batch size here. So batch size, let's set this one to the batch size. Let me initialize this one to the batch size. Next, let me go with flush interval here. Let me copy this one. Let me paste it over here, flush interval, and let me initialize this one with a flush interval as well. So next is drop policy. So let me go with drop policy here. Let me copy this one, let me paste it over here, and let me initialize this one to the drop policy. So this is fine. Next, let's go with a stop event actually. Yep. So let me go with stop event here, and let me set this one to the threading dot. Mm, I'll just go with event. So this is fine. Let me give parenthesis as well. Next, let's go with a worker. So let's go with a worker here. So this will be threading dot thread actually. Yep. Mm, Let me pass certain things here. Target, let's set this one to the this one run actually. Self dot. So let me go with a run actually. Run is not showing. Why? Run is not showing. It has to show. This is fine. Anyways, so let's move on with the further things. Name. Let's set this one the name to logger worker here. Logger. So this has to be logger worker. So this is fine. And also let's make use of the daemon here. This one, sorry, daemon. Let's set the daemon to true actually. This is fine. Let's set the daemon to true. Yep. Also, let's set the drop to, let's initialize the drop to 0. So I'll just go with here, drop. Let's initialize this one to 0. Finally, we are done with the this one initialization part actually. Now we can just go with a different helper methods, right? So first let's go with a start actually. Yep. So I'll just go with start here. Let me make use of the cell. So within this helper method start, so uh, let's start this one thread actually. So just go with worker. We are doing it correct itself, right? So worker dot, let me go with start. So this is fine. Next, let me go with the helper method stop here. Just go with stop. So this is fine. Again, let me pass the self. And within the stop helper method, mm, we have to, or let's go with a signal, or let's signal and wait for worker to flush actually. That's what we can do within the stop helper method, right? So I'll just go with the self dot. So let me make use of the stop event. Yep, so this is fine. And I'll just go with set. So this is fine. One more thing, I'll just go with a self dot. So this one will be, mm, worker dot join dot join. So this is fine. Let me set the timeout to timeout. So this one will be timeout. Let me set this one to the timeout. Yep. So this is fine, I believe. Timeout to timeout. Yep. So this is fine. Mm, why this is showing like this? Timeout is not defined actually. 1 second. We are calling the timeout here. This is fine. Within the stop actually along with the self, let's call the timeout and set the timeout as well. So I'll just go with here timeout. So this is fine. Let's set the timeout to 2 here. This is fine. 2 seconds. So this is fine. Mm, yep. Now the error is gone. Yeah. So let's move on with the next helper method. Nothing but the enqueue accordingly with the UML diagram. So I'll just go with enqueue. Enqueue of, let me go with the self UML. In the UML we have written enqueue of record, right? So yeah, a record. Let's set this one to the log record actually. This one. Yep. Now let's go with a try here. Try within the try help sorry, within the try actually let me go with drop policy. I'll just go with the drop policy and let's check if it is equivalent to the drop. This one oldest we have considered, right? So I'll just go with a drop oldest. So this is fine. Yep. So within the if condition, let me go with a of true while of true. So let me again go with that try here. Let me go with self dot q. Let me make use of the put operation here. So let me pass record here. This is fine along with the record. Let's set the block to Boolean value false. Yep. Let's set the block to Boolean value false. Yep. So this is fine. Else let's return true here. Else let's return Boolean value true. Yep. So now let's make use of the except here. So let's call the exception along with it. Yep. Or let's do one thing. Let's go with a full here instead of the exception. Yep. So full. So again, let's go with one more try here. So this is fine. So within the try, I'll just go with this one, q dot get. So let's make use of the get operation here, right? Get operation. So let's set the block to false, right? So Boolean value false actually. So this is fine. So we are dropping the oldest here, right? So let me set the drop equals drop plus 1, right? So after dropping, so I'll just go with self. Let me go with dropped here. Dropped equals drop plus 1 actually. This is fine as well. Next step, let's make use of the except this time. Yep, except with a full and empty we are making use of. So I'll just go with the empty here. So here I'm making use of the empty because nothing to drop here, right? So we have to try again, right? So let me make use of the this one pass actually. This is fine. So next, let's do one thing. Let's go with the elif, right? Elif. So I'll just go with elif, else if. Let me go with self dot drop. Um, Let me go with drop here. Uh, or the we have to go with the drop policy, I believe. Yeah, this is not showing. So let me type this one instead. Yep. Let me set this one to, sorry, we are comparing, right? So we have to go with the comparison operator here. So we are going with a, we have went with a drop oldest. Now let's go with a drop this one. What do we call drop new actually? So let me go with the same thing here. Let me copy paste the same thing. Instead of the oldest, let me set this one to the new. So this is fine. Yep. Again, what happened here? Why this was showing actually? So this is fine. 1 second. This is fine. Let's do one thing. Let's go with a try actually. Again, self.q dot put record. So this 1 second. Let me do one thing. So let me copy paste the same thing here from here to here and make the necessary changes. Actually. Yep. So this is fine. one thing, one second, except full, except empty, we have written. So one second. Yep. Let me paste the same thing actually here. So here, what we are doing here, drop new. So this is fine. So we are going with a try here. We are going with a try. So this is fine. Uh, mm, we are going with a. So let me do one thing. Let me take from here actually. Try. So this one. Let me copy this one and let me paste it over here. So try we are going with. So this is file. This is fine actually. Try after the try actually we are going with self dot this one q dot put actually record. So this is fine. Let me format this one once actually. Let's wait for some time. Yep, we are just going with a self.q.put here, record comma, block equals false, else return true. This is fine. Except full, this is also fine actually. Now we are again going with a try. So let me delete from here actually. Yep. So within the full actually, what shall we do? So I'll just go with self. Not let me go with a drop here. Let me set this one to drop equals top plus one, and we will return false. Will return boolean value false. Yeah. Uh, Let me do one thing. I'll just make use of else. Mm, so this one instead. So let me go with here. Yeah. We have went with the else, right? So let me go with else here. So within the else, let's do one thing. So we have to block briefly, right? The third option is we have to block briefly. For that, I'll just go with a self dot here. Q dot put. So this is fine. Let me pass the record. Let me pass the record along with it. So let me set this one block to true here, block to true here, and let me set the timeout to the this one point one initially. Yep. So this is also fine. Now let's set this one or let's return true here. Let's return true here. So this is fine as well. Fine as well. So now let's go with a this one. What do we call? Um, Except again. So for the main try, actually, let's go with the so this one here somewhere we have written right. So this one actually. So let's go with except actually here. So let me call the exception here. So this is fine. What shall we do here? Hmm, let's do one thing. I'll just go with the drop equals drop plus one. Yep. So this is fine. Why this is showing here? This one unindent amount does not match the previous indent, so we have to go with the this one, right? So except we have to match this one actually. What do we call this try actually? So this is fine. So this one we have to change this one entirely actually. Try. So this is fine. Mm, self. This one we have to return true. This is also fine. Next we have went with the this one. What do we call space? This is fine. Except full this one. Let's go with this one actually. This part and return false. Yeah. So now this is fine. Return true. So this one self dot drop equals this one. One second. Just give me a second here. Except full we have given here. Self drop equals drop plus one. Return false. We are good. Yeah. We have already written the else as well, right? So this is fine. Else we are going with a self. Oh, this is also fine. Self will return true. This is fine. Except exception. Drop equals drop plus one. We are going. Finally, let's return false here. Else, let's return. Sorry. Let me go with false. Yep. So this is fine, man. Now let's do one thing. Let's go with a run helper method. Yeah. Let's go with a run helper method. Run and let's go with the two helper methods. One is run and another one is flush. Actually, first let's go with a run helper method. Yeah. So let this one indentation. I forget actually. I'll just go with def. Let me go with a run actually. So this is fine. Within the run, let me pass the self. Yep. So within the run helper method, so let's write this one quickly. So let's set the batch to this one empty array, and let me go with a variable name last flush, and let me set this one to time dot time. So this is fine as well. The next step is while not. So let me go with here this one stop event, right? So let me go with stop event. Let me select this dot. Uh, let me go with is set. Yep, and let me make use of the and keyword here. I'll just go with a q here dot empty. Yep, empty has to show. Yep. So this is fine. Yeah. So within the while loop, so let me make use of the try again here. Within the try, so let me go with the recording REC. So this one record actually. This will be Q. This has to show actually. Yep. Q. Let me make use of the get operation. What shall I pass here? Timeout. Let me set the timeout to flush here. Flush interval. Yep. So this is fine. So in the next line, let's do one thing. Let me go with batch dot append. So what we need to append to the batch actually? REC, right? Record actually. So this is fine. The next step would be we have to go with a batch flush condition as well. Let's write the simple if condition for that. So I'll just go with if length of, let me pass here batch. So if it is greater than or equal to batch dot size, so this one will be batch batch size. So this is fine. So within the if condition, let me go with flush. So let me go with the flush here of batch, right? So this one is fine. Batch. So let's set the batch to this one empty array. So this is also fine. The next step is last flush. So this one must last flush. So let me set this one to the time dot time. So this is also fine. Now let's go with the this one. What do we call except, right? So I'll just give except here. Let me go with the exception. So within the sorry, we have to go with the empty man. So let me go with the empty here, right? So this is fine. So within the this one except, so let's go with the timeout, meaning so we have to flush if anything pending and interval exceeded, then also we have to flush, right? So I'll write the simple if condition here. If batch, and let me go with time dot time here. This is also fine. Hyphen, I'll just go with the last flush here. So this is also fine. If it is greater than or equal to flush interval. Yep. So this has to show. Yep. Let me select the flush interval. Then let me go with dot flush interval. Sorry, not the flush interval actually. Flush of this one. Let me pass the batch here. Yep. So this is fine. Let me set the batch again to the empty array. This is fine. Let me go with the last flush here. Let me set this one to the time dot. Yep. So this is fine. Yeah. Now let's go with the final flush one. Yeah. Let's go with a final flush here. So let me go with here. This has to be equivalent to the while loop, right? So let me go with if batch here, then what we need to do? Batch, then I'll just go with uh, flush. So this one has to be flush of. Let me pass the batch here. So this is fine. Next, let's go with the helper method. This one, what do we call flush? So this is going to be the last helper method within the what class we are going with async dispatcher actually. So this is going to be the last helper method. Nothing but we will be going with a flush here. So this one will be flush. Yep. Let me pass this one batch actually. Yep. So this is also fine. So now let's go with for code in, let me go with batch. So this is fine for uh this one hn. Let me go with the handlers. Let me go with the handlers. So this is fine. Mm, let's give try. Within the try, I'll just go with h dot again handlers. This has to show, not showing. Let me type this one. Handle actually. Sorry. Let me pass the REC. REC is the keyword that we have made use of, right? So let me pass REC here. And now let me make use of the except. Let me give exception here. So this is fine. So within this, we will never let the handler crash the this one dispatcher actually. Let's print some statement for the interactiveness. I'll just go with a handler failure in flush. Handler failure and flush. Yep. So this is fine. Let me pass trace back here dot format execution, right? So I'll just go with format exe. So let me give parenthesis here, or else we'll be getting the error, right? So this is fine. Now we are left with the last class actually, nothing but the logger class, right? So this is the public class actually. This is fine. So this is going to be somewhat better, right? Better than the other one. So this is going to be the public one. So the logger class. So let's write this one very quickly. So let me go with the class logger. I'll just go with the logger. So this is fine. Let's go with the initialization part here. So init, this is also fine. With the self, I need certain things here. So I'll just go with the name. Along with the name, let me set the level to level dot debug here. So this is also fine. Yep, this is also fine. Let me go with the dispatcher here. Dispatcher, let me set this one to the none actually. Yep. I'll just go with a self dot name, self dot name. Initialize this one to the name. Yep. So self dot level. Let me set this one to the level. Initialize this one to the level. Also, let me go with self dot dispatcher. Yeah. I'll just go with the dispatcher. Yep. So this is also fine. Mm, let me go with def log. This is fine. Let me go with self level. Also, let me go with message. Let me go with meta actually. Let me go with the meta. Yep. So this is fine. Let me go with a simple if condition. If level less than level, so then let me give a return here. Yep. We have to exit. So let me give just a return here. Also, let me set the record here to log record. We already have the log record here. Of let me pass here name um level. Sorry, let me pass the level here. This is fine. Also message, along with the message, let me pass the meta. Yep. So this is fine. Now let's go with self dot. Let me make use of the dispatcher here. This is also fine. Let's set the dispatcher dot enqueue. It's not showing here. Enqueue. So let me pass the recording record rec, right? So next, let's go with certain helper methods here. Nothing but, so let's go with the this one error levels actually: debug, info, warning, error, as well as the critical. Yep. So let's write these 5 things quickly. So I'll just go with the debug here. So let me pass self. Let me pass message, as well as let me go with the meta. Let me go with a meta. So this is fine. I'll just go with a self. So this one has to be log. Yep. So this is fine. Let me set this one to the so I have to go with level dot debug, right? So this has to show. Yep. Level dot debug. Again, pass the message. Along with the message again meta. This has to show. not showing. Let me type this one. Yeah, now this is showing actually. Meta. Yep, so this is fine. Next, let's go with the info. So let me copy the same thing and make the necessary changes. So here, let me go with the info. So self remains same, message remains same, this meta remains same. Instead of the this one self.log also remains same. Instead of the debug, let me go with the info. So this has to show, yep, info and message meta. Yep, so this is fine. Again, now let me paste this one over here. So this one will be warning actually. I'll just keep warning. So this remains, these three remain same again. So let me go with here, this one. Select warning, this has to show, yep, message and meta. This remains same. Again, let me go with this thing. Instead of the, go with error here. So self message, this one meta remains same. Log out, this one remains same. I'll just go with error. Yep, the final one would be, I think critical, right? Yeah, I'll just give here critical. So this one, let me change this one to critical. Yep, so this is fine, man. Yeah, we are done with this part. Yeah, we are done with the coding part actually. Now, this is it for the code. Yeah. So this is what we have designed actually accordingly with the UML diagram that we discussed. So we have successfully written the code, right? So we have successfully designed the logger system actually, right? So now let's do one thing. So let's go with the example usage of the demo as well, man. We have to show, right? So for that, let me take that one from the Google actually. Just give me a second here. So let me paste this one over here. So here, this is nothing but the demo usage, right? So here we are just setting the console format console file head. So dispatcher, this one we are starting here, thread actually, app logger. So then after this, we are just simulating the concurrent logging here, right? So we are just going with a worker helper method here. We're just passing the thread ID. Then this one, see we have passed here, this one range actually for loop. So here, see one, this one, we are just going with the info message from thread, and we have passed thread id I equals, we have given I here, right? So sleep here we have set this one to the 0.01, right? 1 millisecond. Yep. So thread, again, so we are just setting this one to the thread target worker arguments, this one, thread id here, tid 40 id in the range 3 actually. This is fine. Next, we are just allowing the dispatcher to flush finally, right? So demo complete, and we are just going with a dropped message, and dispatcher, we are just passing the dispatcher dot dropped here. This is fine. Yep. Now, if we run this one, basically, before running the code, let me explain you certain things, right? So let me explain you certain thing, so that we don't, we should know what we have written, right? First of all, so this we have went with a class level, basically what it does. So we are just going with the enum that defines the log severities here, right? Log severities debug, we have set this one to 10. Similarly, we have set info, warning, error and critical to 20, 30, 40 and 50 log severity. This is fine. Next, we are just going with a log record here. Within the log record, so what does the log record class do here? So basically it stores the event data, right? Timestamp, uh, this one, timestamp, level, message, as well as the this one, what do we call this one here? Timestamp, logger name, this one second. Timestamp, level, message, as well as the metadata. Next, we are going with a class formatter here. Within the formatter, what we'll be doing actually, basically this class builds the textual representation of a log record, right? So custom formats are supported here, right? So this is fine. I hope this is fine. Next, we have went with a handler class. Handler class, this is the base class basically. It enforces emit of record accordingly with the UML diagram, and we are going with a console handler as well, which writes to the standard output, right? Nothing but the rotating file handler writes to a file and rotates when size exceeds the maximum bytes, right? Rotation renames the files app.log to app.log1 dot one and dot this one dot one to dot two, etc. up to backup count, right? So that's what we are doing here within the handler class, right? I hope this is clear. Yep. Next, next actually what we are doing, we are going with a async dispatcher, right? So we have discussed this one. Next, we are going with a async dispatcher. So within the async dispatcher, what we are doing, async dispatcher is the single writer of the worker, right? So the public enqueue method is thread safe here that uses queue. So queue is bounded and drop policy controls the behavior on full queue here, right? So worker batches logs basically up to the batch size and flushes every flush interval here, right? Worker ensures handlers run in try or except, so exceptions don't kill the dispatcher, right? So that's what we are doing within the async dispatcher. Finally, we have written the class logger just now. So this logger is nothing but the simple public API used by the application code, right? Logger.info, logger. This one warning, etc. Right? Error, etc. It performs log level filtering and enqueues the log record objects to the dispatcher. We know this one. Yeah. So the output that we need to get here, let's see whether what output we get so that we can discuss the output. So let me give here. Let me copy the file name. Let me give Control J, clear screen here. So this one, I'll just go with the Python followed by the file name.py, right? So we are getting the error. Rotating file handler object has no attribute open file. Did you mail open file? Yeah. So this one is correct one actually. Where it is line number 75. Okay. Let's check this one. Let's come to the line number 75. Yeah. Self dot open file. 1 second. So I'll just leave here. Yeah, we have selected open file, right? So this one has to be here. Open file actually. 1 second, rotating file handler, right? So this one has to be. mm, so we are going with the file handler. Yeah, where we have given here underscore open file. Actually, we have to set this one to the underscore open file. Yep, so this is fine. Now let me give clear screen. Let me run this one again. And we have error unknown encoding. This one, YTF. This has to be UTF actually, right? So where is this line number 79 actually? Now where I have set this one? Yeah, YTF. This one. Let me change this one to UTF actually. This is fine. It's UTF-8. So this is fine. Give clear screen and let me run this one again. Again, we have the error. Async dispatcher object has no attribute worker. Did you mean worker? Yes, just the worker actually. This is the correct one. Which line? Line number 123. So we have just written this one. I know the things what I have written. So this one actually, still check actually. Mm, this one line number 123, right? So I'll just go with the worker. Mm, self dot worker. We are going with actually def. We have set this one to the worker, right? So I'll just give me a second here. 1 second. 1 second. So yeah, it's saying here we haven't made use of the dot. So I have initialized here. So yeah, let's do one thing. Let's change this one to the underscore worker. So we have made use of underscore worker twice here. It'll be better if we change this one initialization part itself, right? So this is fine. 1 second. Yep. This is fine. Let me give clear screen here. Let me run this one again. What happened here? Demo complete. Dropped message 0. Yeah. Just give me a second here. So I'll just give here self dot drop. This one actually policy. This is fine. Again, this one we have the indentation error, I believe. So let's set this one to the try. This one. Now this has to work actually. Let's see the same, or let's check for the other ones as well. So I'll just go with a. This is fine. Let me check for self dot flush here. So this one we have considered flush interval, right? So this one, timeout equals this is flush interval actually. This is fine. Yeah, we have given here self dot flush of batch, right? So let's change this one to underscore here. This one flush of batch actually. So this one, yeah, we have made use of the underscore everywhere. Here, by mistake, I have given just flush. So this is one of the things as well. Yep, we have fixed two errors based on the error that we got. This is fine. Finally, let's do one thing. Uh, just go with so with, so let me search for here this one. What do we call? Dot should rotate actually. I'll just go with should rotate. So this is fine. This is not showing at all. Actually. Mm, go with underscore here. Should rotate. Yeah. So this is fine. Mm, yep. So we have written this one if self dot should rotate. So this is fine. One second. Mm, this one we have to go with only rotate, I believe. So this is not showing actually. So if I remove underscore, so let me select this one. Yeah. Yep. This is just rotate actually. We haven't given underscore at all. So yep. This is fine now. We have went with the rotate method, so we just have to call rotate. We haven't used the underscore. This is one of them. So this is fine. Mm, so this is fine. Now, one second. So this is it, I believe. Let me give clear screen here and let me run this one again. Yeah, demo complete, drop messages 0. Now we are getting the correct output, right? So see here. So we are just displaying in this format itself. Yep. So deprecated warning date or time if it is deprecated. This is fine. You can just ignore the stamping. Self dot timestamp. So this one we are getting accordingly with what we have written actually. This one year, month. This one we have written if you remember, right? So the same. So we are getting here info my app message 0. So this is fine. Yep. We are getting the correct output. So here we are getting the correct output, right? So this is fine. We are getting the desired output. So for what we have written, we are getting the desired output. Basically, logs slash app.log file will contain the same formatted entries. We can just check. So here logs file, this one is created, right? Logs, within the logs, we will be having the app.log file that will contain the same formatted entries. When app.log exceeds 2 KB in the demo, rotation that will create the app.log.1 etc app.log.2. So that's what we have written in the code, right? So here, yeah, see here it has created app.log. So when it has exceeded the this one 2 KB, it has created app.log.1, log.2, log.3. So see here. So this is fine. You can just see the same thing. So it has exceeded the this one 2 KB. So here we can see the same. Yep, this is fine. And finally, this one. Yep, this works absolutely correct. Whatever the code that we have written works absolutely correct, right? So we are getting the desired output. We are getting the desired output. So we are done with the code actually. Yep. So we have successfully designed the logger, this one system. Yep. Now we are left with only two things. One is discussing the limitations of the code that we have written, and another one is future discussion, right? So these two things. Now let's hop into limitations, right? Limitations of the code that we have written, or limitations for the code that we have written. Just give me a second here. So here, the first one is one second. Just give me a second. Yeah, this one. First one, this is single process only. Yep. So when I say single process only, you can just check the method, this one, rotating file handler, right? So rotating file handler uses plain this one file operations, right? So multiple process writing to the same file can corrupt the logs, right? So we can just make use of the OS level logs or centralized log collector for the multi-process. This we can do. Let's move on with the second one. We have no structured log output, right? So this one, JSON by the default actually, right? So easier, so it will lead us to the easier parsing if JSON output is available, right? It will be simple to add. So let's move on with the next one. No async remote transport, right? So when I say no async remote transport, so we can just or sending the logs to remote services needs additional handlers and retry or back of logic, right? Back of logic, right? So sending logs to remote services in the sense, the simple examples are HTTP or the system log, SYS log, right? So those needs additional handlers and retry or the back of logic. So this is the one thing. So next, let's move on with the next thing, nothing but rotation by size only. Rotation by size only means, so it doesn't support time based rotation. Example, the simple example is daily, right? So out of the box, right? So next, let's move on with the this one, no compression of rotated files, right? So this is also one of the things. And next, let's move on with the limited metrics. Limited metrics in the sense, we are only tracking this one underscore dropped count. If you look at the code, yeah, production system should expose the metrics, right? Prometheus counters, then histograms, etc. So this is fine. Next, let's move on with the seventh one here. Nothing but the handlers run within the same worker thread. Here, handlers run within the same worker thread. So it will be a slow handler, right? The simple example is remote HTTP without async can block others, right? So we have to consider per handler workers or non-blocking input output for remote syncs. Yeah, this is one of them. So the final one here would be no dynamic reconfiguration at runtime, right? So whether it may be levels or the handlers, right? So we could add safe this one config update mechanism as well. Yep. So this is these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind, right? So this is fine. Yep, we have discussed the limitations of the current code. Now let's move on with the alternative algorithms and trade-offs, nothing but the summary part. So alternative algorithms, the first one is multi-workers dispatchers. When I say multi-workers, this one worker dispatchers, the workers basically worker dispatchers. So this one, we basically it increases the throughput by multiple worker threads, right? So trade-off or the summary is file handlers must be synchronized or given dedicated writer per file. So we can just think of this one as well. Next, let's go with a per handler worker threads. When I say per handler worker threads, it isolates the slow syncs, right? Example, just for the sake of example, we can just consider remote here. So slow remote sync doesn't slow console or the file, right? Complexity here, we can just consider in this way. We'll be going with a more threads and ordering differences. Yep. So this is one of them. So next, let's move on with the memory mapped files. Memory mapped files or append only logs with this one fsync strategies, right? Fsync in the sense file sync, this one strategies. Yep. So this improves durability, but it is more complex. You can just think of that as well. Memory mapped files or append only logs with fsync strategies. Next, let's move on with the use of non-blocking input output. Use of non-blocking input output and an event loop, nothing but async IO, nothing but async input output for the high concurrency, especially for the network syncs, right? So basically, trade-off summary in the sense it requires async aware handlers and may complicate the integration with the synchronized code actually. This one also we have to keep in mind. Now, let's move on with the fifth one, time based rotation versus size based rotation versus hybrid, right? Right. So time based makes log management predictable, yeah, and size based this one ensures files are bounded, and the hybrid one gives the best of both. So this one also we can keep in mind. Yeah. Next, let's move on with a durable querying, right? So durable querying in the sense disk backed queue, right? So this we can make use of this one durable queuing just to avoid the not the querying, sorry. So durable queuing. So just to avoid the this one data loss on crash at the cost of complexity and input output. So this one we can keep in mind. And the final one, final two things are centralized logging and the structured logging. So centralized logging in the sense, so we can just make use of the centralized logging here. We can just go with a fluent D, log stash or the vector, right? And buffered local agents as well, right? So um, basically it offloads the this one rotation or the retention concerns to specialized system. This is also one of them. And the final one is structured logging, right? Structured logging in the sense we can just go with the JSON for the better indexing and searching by the log platforms. Yeah. So these are the things that we need to keep in mind, right? Alternative algorithms and the trade-offs. Yeah. This is fine, I believe. So we are done with the this one. What do we call? We have successfully designed the logger system. These are the things that we need to keep in mind. So this was the last topic actually. We have successfully designed the this one. What do we call? Logger system, right? So next, what we'll be doing actually? Let's do one thing. Next, let's go with this one. What do we call? Let's design the bit.ly, bit.ly, and then let's go with the designing unique ID generator service. These two things, right? Next. So we are done with the designing, or we have successfully designed the logger system, right? So for now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.